Over in the space of Marvel Comics, the publisher's X-Men franchise is so robust right now that I'm even interested in reading a series starring Iceman Bobby Drake. But I think this is due in large part to the fact that the X-Men just encountered a devastating attack over from the anti-mutant group known as Orchis. One of the individuals working with Orchis, known as Nimrod, seemingly killed Bobby. My name is Ariko Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and see how Iceman made it out of his surprise death over at the Hellfire Gala in the pages of Iceman issue number 1. Before we get deeper into the video, I want to encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button over on this video. The Omega level mutant as you've never seen him before. After the heroic events of this year's can't miss Hellfire Gala, Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, sets his sights on heroic deeds like never before. But as a new situation develops that links Iceman to his Antarctic ice palace, he'll have to be slicker than ever to accomplish his mission before Orchis knows what hit them. An all-new adventure that'll push Iceman to the limits of his powers and beyond. Orlando said back in April, "Have I not been saying my next Marvel project was cool as hell? Astonishing Iceman has been not just a joy, but a challenge and the best possible kind, because the fall of X means Iceman's life is more dangerous and harrowing than ever. But Bobby is a hero to the core, and there's no danger he's met in whose face he won't laugh. When it's more dangerous than ever to be a hero, that's when Iceman's at his most heroic." With Jesus Saiz and Vincenzo Carratu joining me on this, Iceman's going to look cooler than ever. See what I did there? Astonishing Iceman 1 is written by Steve Orlando, featuring art from Vincenzo Carratu, colors from Java Tartaglia. We have letters from VC's Travis Lanham, design from Tom Muller and Jay Bowen. And here's a look at the cover on Astonishing Iceman number 1, coming in directly from Jesus Saiz. I think the way Iceman is striking a triumphant pose really kind of fleshes out his mindset across this series. Even though Bobby suffered an incredible loss during the Hellfire Gala, he's still in good spirits throughout this issue, which is a big part of the fun here. I want to extend a thank you to Adventures in Poor Taste, and let's go ahead and review some of the artwork coming in over from Vincenzo Carratu. Carratu captures such an expressionistic and curvy line over in this series. I think he does such an exceptional job with the anatomy for so many characters over in this series. The page layouts across the book are really interesting too. I think the way that some of these panels are kind of canted across this kind of 6-panel page illustrates so much tension that the script is trying to bring out, fleshing out some of the animosity between humans and mutants throughout the storyline. Also, I like this page where Iceman triumphantly shows up over in the issue as well. Getting to see Bobby kind of strike that pose is a little bit interesting. I love the fact that this issue opens up with this scene to build up the intrigue and let readers wonder how Bobby managed to survive the Hellfire Gala as well. Really have to hand it to author Steve Orlando for how he's kind of constructed the script in this series. And alongside Scarlet Witch, I think this is yet another really solid solo debut over for Orlando. I also really appreciate pages like this where Carratu is illustrating so many different characters and items on the concept of one page. We have these ominous robots, several characters in the background, just kind of plainclothes civilians, and lots of individual panels. Plus, we even get a kind of big cavernous ice panel over in the last page as well here. This series does a great job kind of building up to the tension of the Hellfire Gala, and getting to see some of the mechanics behind Bobby's resurrection in the story were fascinating. Recently, in some Steve Orlando comics, we've even gotten to see a little bit more of the operation behind Orchis. Love that this issue also fleshes that out, and we get to see some of the command center and how they currently operate. In addition to all these other kind of elements, one aspect that Orlando's script is able to call upon nicely is this sort of fantasy setting as it relates to the X-Men. watching these next sequences with Bobby kind of entering his new base of operations in Antarctica and showing you the mechanics behind how he got brought back is very, very intriguing here. I think author Steve Orlando did a great job telling a simple and compelling narrative as to why Bobby came back that feels fulfilling and essential to the kind of core of this franchise. I love how Orchis kind of continues to scheme public relations against the X-Men, even following the Hellfire Gala, and watching the final couple pages culminate in yet another attack from Orchis that Bobby has to respond to shows, I think, how hectic his life is currently, as well as some of the rest of the X-Men characters. So at the end of the day here, this is the most excited I've ever been for an Iceman series. I think Marvel Comics has established a really intriguing status quo across all these individual X-Men titles. Steve Orlando does a great job implementing some of the characterization of Bobby and really grounding this book in a more fantasy setting so that it can really allow for really kind of strange and irreverent things to happen, like in the last couple pages over in this tale. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts over on this new Iceman #1? What are some of your thoughts about how this book integrates with the rest of Fall of X as well? Thanks so much for coming to check out our review over on Iceman issue 1, and we'll be back to talk Marvel Comics and Fall of X in the near future. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.